G'day mate, welcome back to Dyson Sphere with me, Jetty, and of course, the wonderful Mr. Icarus. Now, in our previous episode, we come out to a new system. Grab a couple of rare resources that we didn't have already to get Purple Science up and running. At the same time, whilst we're out here, we set up the Gemitile system and we plan to come to this particular planet to launch off some rockets and some sails and get the next intergalactic billboard put up around the sun. But it was held up in red tape. We had lawyers that were very, very, very lazy, didn't get all the paperwork done in time, and therefore we couldn't build it last episode. So it had to get pushed back to this episode. But as I don't believe in wasting your time or Icarus's time, we came out here and we made a lovely processor build. In fact, we took the processor build attached to Purple Science and we split it in half because we only need the processors, didn't need the fiber optic, no, what's it called? That thing. Particle broadband. Yeah, didn't need the particle broadband, so we ripped that off the build and just used what we have, and we added about 13 extra processors per second onto our into the intergalactic network, which should not get requested, which means we're finally at a positive amount. Okay, we're finally producing more than we're requiring, which is great. And this is using all the coal on the planet, what little copper we have, and also obviously tapped in a local iron and a local silicon. But with that done last episode, today's episode, I want to continue on with our billboards and our campaigns. And the lawyers, as a way of apologizing for taking so long, they did one step better. Not only did they finally get approval for a new billboard, they took it one extra step and they even got a sponsor for today's video. So if you want to hear about sponsors, if you want to hear about something that's actually pretty important to me because it's really affected my life in the last 3 weeks to a month, by all means, click the like button, click the subscribe button. We will get onto that after we get our sphere up and running. First thing I need to do is obviously clear some space. Do we have an unhappy power network? We have an unhappy power network. Let's just connect that to that. We just need to clear a lot of space. I don't know if I have to bury you, but we're going to bury you anyway. And we're going to rip up that. Okay, that's a very unhappy power network. Okay, so we've cleared some space. Alright, first thing we want to do is we want to get some rockets up and running. So, I want to use lovely big towers. I think I want you in that tile. I think. Okay. I want that on the ground. Cool. Alright, so we want a tower. We want to import small carrier rockets. And then, of course, I need to launch them. So, we are going to whack down some rocket silos. Now, you would assume, as they're wider at the front, I'd build them like this. And I just spread them around the planet like this. And then we have an import, as you can see, here at the bottom. And then we'd somehow get a belt in here and import them and blah, 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 blah. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. What we're going to be doing is we are going to be putting down our first tower. We're going to be rotating it twice and sliding them hard up against one another. And then we're going to get a low sorter, and we're going to just link them together, and we're going to daisy chain them from one together, which now means I can click the previous one, paste it there, click the previous one, paste it there, so on and so forth. The other thing I want to do is obviously have some power connections. So we're going to put a power pole here, a power pole here, a power pole here, so on and so forth. Now I could very, very much walk around the planet, gather put these down one at a time, come back, put down the power poles. Or we can use the power on the blueprint, say I want this one, plus this sorter in here, plus the power poles. Hello, power pole? Power pole, you're important. Cool. And then hit the paste button, and then line that up. I'm going to click the draggy button. I'm going to have to change the separation to get these things lined up happily. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. And we're just going to rotate around the planet until we get to the end. There. Okay, so that should get a whole bunch of rocket silos up and built. And if I'm really lucky, I've managed to center things correctly. I have to be really lucky. I don't hold my breath about that entirely. And And holy shit, it's centered. Okay, we're going to remove you and see if I can slide you one tile up. Perfect. All right, next thing we want to do is we want to have an import for rockets, which I want to have a sorter on, and then we're going to change up this belt. Now it's attached to a belt and happy. We're going to go dead straight line from there to there. That is, as far as I can tell, attached. We're going to put a power pole in there. We need to make sure this is connected in. Oh no, you are connected to the main power grid, and you missed a power pole because you were placed manually. And that should be our rocket production. We are going to say import 10,000 rockets. 10,000 rockets seems like a good start. Now, obviously, to go with that, I need to actually have a sphere. Okay, we need to have a target. So we need to get our next intergalactic billboard up and running. So I'm going to delete the original sphere. I'm going to add a new layer. We're going to set the orbit radius nice and big, because why not? The bigger the orbit radius, the easier it is to read our giant billboards. At the same time, we're going to set the inclination to 180 degrees, because we need to so we can actually read it. Longitude doesn't really matter. We're going to go create. And then, of course, I need to paste in our brand new layer. And we've had a bit of a theme. We've had a bit of theme this year. It's a very important theme, and this is why that they have, as they're the only ones with enough money to be able to put up giant billboards this big, this is why we are promoting for this particular episode ad-free 2022. So if you have missed it, this channel, well, my channel is trying to go ad-free for this year and future years. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a big push. I'm asking you guys, look, if you enjoy the content, you really enjoy the content, you think it's worth $1 per month. That's all I ask, $1 per month. By all means, click the join button. It's beside the like button, which you should have clicked on this video already, because I'm basically making you watch an ad right now. At the same time, you should click the subscribe button, because I have big enough cojones to actually ask you guys to click the subscribe button during an ad placement, to then consider clicking the join button right beside that, because YouTube membership really goes a long way towards supporting the channel. It means, for me as a content creator, I don't have to worry so much about the YouTube algorithm, whether it likes a video and runs away with it. I don't have to comply and deal with clickbait titles and videos and all that sort of stuff. I can make content that we all enjoy watching. And again, I don't have to try and keep it to be super duper duper short and tiny and cut here, there, and everywhere. I can actually go through and keep this more tutorial-like and talk you through what we're doing as we're doing it. Holy shit, that is a long trail of rockets coming in non-stop. Yes, we can do all those sorts of things, because I'm not forced to bow to the YouTube algorithm. I can take my time because you guys are supporting the channel. So if you enjoy the content, consider supporting the channel. Like, you click the join button, you have a $1 option, I think a $5 option, I think a $15 option. But at $1 a month, if half the people watch these videos just join for $1 a month, I'd be done. I'd be set. You know, I wouldn't have to worry about nearly what I have to worry about if I'm dealing with the YouTube algorithm and all the ads. We do have to run an ad at the start of the video. Otherwise, YouTube just bombs the video entirely, and we probably won't even tell you guys about it. You know, you won't show up in your subscription feed, and that would be bad, because you'd be like paying for a video that you don't get to see. Because if YouTube doesn't get to run any ads on their own video, on the videos, yeah, they don't really promote the video. So we have an ad break at the start, and then the rest of the video, being 20 minutes all the way up to 45 minutes, 50 minutes, is completely ad-free, because you guys are choosing to support the channel. If you don't want to have YouTube showing up on your credit card every month, you can always go over to Patreon, and I think there it doubles in price, up to $2 per month, but you can pay the whole 12 months up front, and I think you get a 10% discount. That ends up being like $22 a year. Boom, boom, done, dusted. Thank you so much. And I very, very much appreciate your support. But with our ad-free slogan going up on the screen as we speak, and obviously, hang on, we should have a continuous spiral. Yep, a continuous spiral of rockets going up over and over and over. And as we can see, they're all daisy-chained together. So we have rockets in the first silo, we have rockets in the last silo. We are launching a never-ending barrage of rockets to try and get our ad-free 2022 sign up and running. Now, very, very quickly, we should look at this. This particular Dyson Sphere needs 12,000 rockets. And in this silo, I have 10,000 rockets. So what I want to do is I want to, after I've launched about 2,000 rockets into the system, I actually want to stop the imports. And that way I don't have to have extra rockets in here that are never going to move. But with that part done, obviously the next thing we need to do is we need to actually start receiving some power. So I want to come around the planet just a little bit. We want to come here. We want to check our lines. Okay. So I want to put a tower right about here, roughly. And then in our Dyson Sphere program, I need to grab... Where is that tower? That's the tower. I need to grab a whole bunch of ray receivers and a whole bunch of belt. We'll grab the cannons whilst we're here. And we want to set up a way to get power out of our Dyson Sphere. So, first step is I want to get you as close to a cannon as rocket cell as possible. It's about here. So let's go with this tile. We want to have 2 of these like this. And then at the same time, I want to drag them out left to right. And then I want to space out the bottom line so they line up nice and straight. And then ray receivers wise, we can bring down power. Power is great. Power helps power this planet. But I can't really reliably ship power when we're pulling it to one planet around the galaxy. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to change it to photon generation. Photon lets me bring down critical photons. Critical photons I can put into this recipe, which will let me split the critical photon with 1.2 gigajoules worth of power into a tiny bit of hydrogen and a crap ton of antimatter. Okay? And then I can take the antimatter and I can put it in an antimatter fuel rod, and then we can ship that around the galaxy very, very easily to produce power on other planets. So I want to set you in photon generation mode. I want to copy that to all your friends. And then what I actually want to do is these guys just dump this stuff on a belt. So we're going to take 2 belts. 2 belts. We're just going to have them meet in the middle and slide in on one long continuous belt, which will bring them in here. And in here we're going to say photons, please. I'm going to want you to have warpers. Very important this one has warpers, so we're going to ship things out. And then I need to go through the arduous process of dragging these all the way around the planet. Or we can use blueprints. So what I want to do is I want to put one little extra tile on the end. That's super important, okay? Because I want to copy from here to here. I want to copy from basically this point to this point, okay? And I want to turn off Blueprint Foundations, and I want to click Paste, because if I overlap that over the one tile that's sticking out the end and click OK, it says Paste, happy, okay. And then if I click this and drag this, and we drag this around the planet, we can have blueprints that we can move further apart or close together. And if I just move it in one tile so they overlap, I can then take this magical blueprint, drag it most of the way around. It's still joined. Yep. Drag it. Let's go to there. Can I put the last one on? I can. Perfect. Right, how centered are we? Not bad. We could have probably gone one extra tile further around, but am I going to fix that? No way! That is far too minor a detail for one tile, and they look pretty even. Alright, so next thing we need to do is we need to get these guys up and built, which means I'm going to have an opportunity to talk to you guys about today's advertising. So, I'm a content creator, if you can't tell, which means I create very, very large files, and I spend a lot of time editing some files. And in fact, a YouTube short / trailer that's probably released by now, I think. If not, it's out very, very soon. I spent over 10 hours editing that video. And it's a minute long, which is a lot of time on one video. But it also means that it's sort of critically important that I don't lose data. And over my career as a content creator, I have lost data multiple times. I've lost hard drives, hard drive failures. I've accidentally clicked the wrong button and lost, weeks worth of work. I've had save files where I've accidentally saved over the wrong save file and lost, 3 or 4 or 5 episodes worth of work or 10 hours worth of outposting, or the list goes on. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about a cloud backup service, because as a content creator, I make a lot of data. Like you would be surprised at how big these videos are, and then after they go through the process to go from, you know, a raw video to edited video, it's a lot of data. Now, I could buy local hard drives here and I could just store up everything, which is not a bad idea. Local storage is a great idea, but I chose to go for the cloud. And I spent a lot of time, about 2 years ago now, searching for different cloud providers to provide the sort of data requirements I needed. And I came across one particular company, being Backblaze. And as you can see with the little dialogue on your screen right now, I have 19 terabytes. 19 terabytes are actually backed up. Well, 2 terabytes is still going to be uploaded, but 17 terabytes uploaded out of 19 terabytes. In fact, it was 21 terabytes just a couple of days ago, and right at the moment we can see that I'm actually uploading the last episode right now to the cloud backup service. And Backblaze, I gotta say, after using it for 2 years now and recently losing my Steam hard drive, which is only your Steam files, it's not that much of an issue, you know, it happens. It was a brand new hard drive, it had bad sectors, it means I had to ship it off, less than 12 months old, that's perfectly fine. I pulled it straight out of the machine, shipped it off, it's only the Steam files, and then realized I had a number of games that didn't support cloud saves, and therefore I needed some saved game files that were really important. Really important. And thankfully I had the service like Backblaze where I could go on there and pull down those save files, which are tiny. They were very quick. But it also means that, you know, there are other times where I've lost whole videos where I could go on there and just download the backup from a couple of days ago, which is perfect. And yeah, I highly recommend Backblaze for a couple of reasons. One of it being just the price, okay? $70 a year for unlimited cloud backups is unbelievably cheap. On top of that, their little application just sits in your taskbar and continuously backs up, well, continuously uploads and backs up in the background, which just means that I don't have to worry about it. It's a set and forget program, or you can have it scheduled and have it only back up at, like, you know, 2 a.m. when you're fast asleep. Or, like I said, I just have it continuously run in the background, and $70 a year, unlimited backups. And I can definitely tell you, with over 20 terabytes regularly stored there, it is 100% unlimited. So, if you're interested in Backblaze, if you're interested in peace of mind, you're interested in cloud storage, especially for very important things like documents and photos, which, again, I have had a NAS that recently failed that happened to have a local backup of all my photos on it. There was also a local copy on my hard drive, thankfully, so therefore it's part of the Backblaze backup. Yeah, I highly recommend it. There is a link in the description if you are interested. It's one of those affiliate links, so it means for every person who signs up, I get a free month, and you get a free month. So consider giving it an option. I highly recommend it. Like I said, 12 months worth of backup for $70. It's pretty dirt cheap. Anyway, with that out of the way, we have RAY receivers. RAY receivers are consuming, well, trying to pull down a lot of power. And as you can see, because we have thoroughly burnt out our very limited sphere that we have currently, we are pulling down a grand total of not a lot. Not a lot. And in fact, most of the power actually pulling down is going away in RAY receiver efficiency. It's being wasted. So we're going to eventually get some critical photons out of that. The best way to fix that is obviously with a whole bunch of cannons. Now, cannons are wonderful, except they're giant and they take up lots of space. So we need to move them far enough away from the RAY receivers, which I think is going to be there. You know, we should still have some space. Okay. And I want to tab these guys out so we have a little bit of space between them. We need a belt, obviously. We can't reach that far. We need to be that close. We need a belt. We need a sorter. Yep. And yep, that's going to be our top row. Now, I'm hoping I can get a bottom row. That looks wrong. That looks right. I'm hoping I can get a bottom row there, and then I can use the magic of a power pole to power everything. Perfect. All right. So what we need to do is we need to move our tower so it's too close to advanced mining machine. Really? Fine, we'll just slide around the planet to the next section. Cool. Copy. Go around the map. Pick up that blueprint. Paste. Oops. There. Is that right? No. That looks to be right. Okay, so we now know I need to come this far down the planet. So we're going to remove you again. We're going to line you up there. So that interacts with the belt in the middle. Alright, we're going to put our first one as close as possible, right there. We're going to copy that for the third time. So I have it as a pasteable item. We're going to remove all of that. We're going to remove that. And then hopefully I can paste that over the top of that. And we're good to go. Okay, so this is where we are going to set up our cannons. Now, before I get too carried away, I need to have some targets from the shoot at. So we need to go into the orbit list. I can't remove the very first orbit, which sucks. And I really wish the devs would change that. But we can add a new orbit. And we discovered last time if we go tiny, nope, 90 degrees. And latitude doesn't really matter. We have a very, very fast moving circle. Which means if it ever gets behind the planet, it's not behind the planet for too long. So we're going to create that little sphere, that little swarm. At the same time, we're going to set another one, being a high orbit radius. Again, 90 degrees. Oh boy, no, that should be fine. And 90 degrees there, which means if I zoom out, we should have a very big circle. Wonderful big circle for our second swarm. Although we might move that in slightly, just so it's behind the ad-free 2022 sign. Yeah, okay, all right. So that's going to be our two spheres. We're going to have a tiny one. Yeah, I don't like the fact that you're offset at a weird angle. Let's go again. Tiny, 90, and tiny. Okay, that one that way, that one that way. Yeah, that way they're 90 degree offset to one another. Okay, so that's going to be our two targets. We're going to have to set you guys to be layer number 2. You guys layer number 3. We're going to drag that through to there. We're going to drag that through there. We are going to set up item number 1. I wish to be sales. We're going to go remote demand. We're going to drop warpers in here locally. Local demand, remote supply. Set you 100%. We're going to throw some shippies in here. Shippies in here. Notice it's the first one I put shippies in. You need a power pole there. Cool. And with that done, we just need to get this to a blueprintable state. Okay, so what I want to do is we need to remove those. I want to copy from the far point to that same tile over there. Oh. There to... We'll copy too much. We'll remove that with a right click. And that should... No. That should match. I'm going to confirm by dragging these guys across, hitting the tab button. Yeah, they line up. Perfect. Alright, so we have our blueprint. I just need to drag that. Hit the minus button so that belt overlaps. Drag it around the world. Oh. We didn't remove those guys. Alright, we'll just fly over here and remove those guys. Remove. Go aways. Alright, back to the paste. We go there, we go there. We drag that around to there. The last one is too close. Too close? Too close. Okay. Wrong button. So we're going to fly this way first. I'm going to have to put down the last few manually, which is okay. It's not the end of the world. We already know if I grab this guy and we drag and hit tab, we know that now ends there because they all overlap. We drag this guy. Ooh. No, more. Tap, 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 tap. Oop, one too many. There we go. That's our pattern. We know a power pole there, with a power pole there. We're going to stop our belts right here. We have sails arriving, so I just need to get the hell around the planet as fast as possible and get the belts built and the rail guns in place. Go Icarus, build, go bots. And then we should get some cannons up and firing. I think that's it. I think we're done. Alright, I do definitely know we sort of need to connect those two power grids together. And that'll probably make the rest of the planet happier. Yeah, we've still got plenty of power. Now, I can re-raise. So if I really, really wanted these materials, I could re-raise them back up. And I could probably not get... I could somewhat get a advanced miner near some of them. What else did we bury? Oh, hang on. No, that's fine. That's fire ice. That's fire ice. That's titanium. Titanium, I wouldn't mind to have access to. And as for an advanced miner, I think the answer is going to be pretty much no, forget it, JD. Yeah, no, forget it, JD. But I could put in normal miners because they're shorter. And we could really get in here with the normal miners, like literally mine stuff out from between the cannons. Am I that worried? No, no. What I am worried about is you guys firing. Oh, the firing squad has started. We got some of them synced up. Okay, the rest of them need to have a talk. But we're getting there. And we already have 2,000 rockets launched. So we're going to set you to remote storage so you don't ship any more in. I'm going to drop that on the ground again. Okay, with that out of the way, hang on, let's go check. Oh, wrong button. You're pressing the wrong button. Okay, so our Dyson layer. Our Dyson layer already have 2,000 rockets. We've got 10,000 already in the tower. So you're good to go. You will launch everything. As for our cells, being our cells, we have 500 being absorbed, 0 constructed, and we need 100,000, 107,000 to be exact. So, if you're worried about overpopulating your Dyson spheres and your Dyson layers and that sort of stuff, you can, as I did, just bring in enough rockets to get you up and running. Otherwise, when it comes to your sails, I could very, very easily take this one, which holds 10,000 in theory if we had enough production, which maybe we don't. And I could paste down 10 more towers, and I could ship in 107,000, store them up towers, hook them up belt to belt to belt, so they're all belt fitting into the next tower, finally into the main tower, and just call it there. And have basically a giant storage here on the local planet ready to go. But in our case, it looks like we just don't have enough cells outright. Oh, there's critical photons wandering off in the background. Perfect. So we are producing some power. Pretty much every single cell we're launching currently is being absorbed because we're building the rocket, we're building the sphere way faster than we're launching cells. It's okay. Cells are pretty cheap, and I don't really mind if I waste too many of them. And that's pretty much it. We've got 380 megawatts rather. I don't know how much power this sphere will produce overall. We are around a star with a luminosity of 1. Obviously, like some more potent stars to get some spheres around, but we'll worry about that in the future because we've been procrastinating for more than long enough. And holy cannon. Alright, the three of you that are firing at the wrong time, you guys suck. But everybody else, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Okay, you, the one who's firing late. You, stop firing. Get in time with everybody else. Okay. We have a sphere being up and built. We have purple science automated, but we haven't touched green science, and I've procrastinated for 2 episodes. So I guess in our next episode, we're gonna go try and tackle the gravity matrix, because it's going to be a nightmare. I fully know it's going to be a nightmare, but it's something we desperately need to get done. So next episode, we will go and track down the gravity matrix. In the meantime, we will just stare at the firing squad doing a wonderful job for just one more second. If I can get around the planet far enough. Oh. That guy that was out of time is back in time. Alright, with that said, I think that's where we're going to leave today's episode. I'll see you guys in the next episode where we go back to covering yellow science. As always, of course, these blueprints are available. So if you want to have the cannon launcher, you want to have the ray receivers, you want to have the rocket circle, all three of them, all three blueprints are available on my Discord, along with obviously the new power pole, which features the fusion reactors over the thermal plants, which, as you can see, has definitely solved our power problems on this planet. We have well over 1 gigawatt of available power, and even with all the cannons firing, all the rockets firing, and the ray receivers doing absolutely nothing because they are making critical photons, which we have the grand total of 86 currently. Even with them doing absolutely nothing, we still have plenty of power. Oh. Bad bell. Go away. Cool. Alright, that's it. I'm out. And if you're interested in Backblaze, you're interested in a cloud-based backup service, by all means, check the linky in the description. But that's it. I'm out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you in the very next video. Alright, bye.